Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for getting on. Do me a huge favor. Put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolute love, love, love to give you a shout out. I hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. For mine, like I always say, mine is off to a busy start, but it is a good week. And so, again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love, love, love to give you a shout out. Um, this weekend, I had a great time. I got a chance to go hang out with some friends. They did a pop up shop right before, of course, the holidays. I can't believe in less than 2 weeks it's going to be Thanksgiving. That's just crazy to me. The Thanksgiving is already here. But hopefully that you guys have already started shopping because it's going to get crazy out in those streets. And I don't like to be in the stores fighting over a turkey and a ham and a chicken and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys have kept that in mind. But we only have like 2.5 weeks, and it's crazy. Hi, Mario from St. Lucius. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I truly do. Again, you guys put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely, love to give you a shout out. Conchetta, I hope I said that right. Joining you from Prince George's County. I appreciate you. Again, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. And again, I hope that you're off to an amazing start. Um, I wanted to start out by saying if you guys have any wife chats that you want me to do, no subject is off limits. I've been doing wife chat now for 7 years. It's just crazy to me. But no, and I will never say your name. All I would need for you to do is inbox me or email me on any of my social media platforms and just give me the details and we can go from there. Okay. So I will never say your name. I will just say where you're from and that kind of thing. And so tonight's wife chat comes from a husband. They have been married 3 years. They have no children. Um, it says you're welcome, wife Sandra, watching as well. Thank you so much, Sandra, for watching as well from Saint Lucia. I appreciate you guys. And again, I am so grateful that God has given me this platform and I get a chance to hear from people from all over the world. It's just mind blowing that I started doing this and yeah. Anyway, this chat comes from a husband from Wisconsin. They've been married 3 years. They have no children. And this was his message to me. Hello, Dr. Gail. Me and my wife have a difference of opinion on so many things and topics that we cannot agree on anything. And it's starting to affect our marriage. We differ on religion, politics, education, and to how we can raise our children in the future. This is just beginning to wear on our marriage. I love her very much, but it's putting a huge strain on our family and our marriage. And I have chosen to wait to have children with her until we can get on the same page about something. How can we fix this, Dr. Gail? Now, let me just tell you this. They've only been married 3 years. And I did try to reach out to them to have another conversation because my questions are, and I still have questions, is that they just got married. So this is not something that just, has developed over years and years and years and years. My question that I wanted to be able to ask, but I didn't get a chance to do that. And just to let you know, I will always reach out to see if I can get more information or try to give you some tools and strategies behind the scenes because again, I appreciate you even sending this in, but I didn't get that opportunity. So with that being said, they're so new in their marriage. I would like to have known if they had these differences of opinions before they got married, if they even talked about politics, religion, education, all of these different kind of things before they got married, because it seems as if this is a huge deal breaker for him, because he's saying that he doesn't even want to have children with her yet until they can try to get on the same page about something. And his big concern was, I love her very much, but I'm putting the brakes on having children until we get on the same page about something, right? So I'm taking that, and again, I'm just taking it that maybe the wife wants to have children right now, or start to try to get pregnant, but he's not wanting to do that until they can communicate about something else. And also, I wanted to ask, do they have other difficulties communicating in other areas of their life, like their sex life or their work life or anything like that? Or is it just these, subjects, religion, politics, and education? And so, again, I had so many questions, but I didn't get a chance to ask those questions. So, I'm going to give you guys just some rule of thumb if you and your spouse can't agree on many different subjects and it's causing problems in the marriage. Okay. Let me start off by saying that every marriage has some form of communication breakdown. Every marriage has people that at times that you're not going to agree on certain subjects or certain things. I know for me, when my children were young, they're grown men now, and we're raising my nieces, and they're teenagers as well. But the thing is I remember when I had Justin, my first, my oldest son. Gil and I didn't agree on a lot of things because I was very protective over him. I didn't even want him to crawl because I didn't want him to mess up his knees. Isn't that crazy now? But yes, I did not want him to crawl because I didn't want him to scar up his knees and those kind of things. And Gil was just like, let them do whatever they're going to do because they're kids and they need to build their motor skills. Even though my first degree is in early childhood development and I know that's what's best, I still was very protective because he was my very first child. So again, there are going to be times in your relationship where you're going to not agree, but you're going to have to put some perimeters and some boundaries on it because you don't want it to spill into every conversation that you have and eventually begin to affect your marriage. And again, begin where you get to the point where you don't even want to speak to your spouse because you figure it's going to end up in an argument because you're not going to agree on everything. Okay. So my thing is shift from wanting to win to shift to understanding where that is coming from, that particular stance, that particular thought process. Shift from wanting to win the argument or wanting to win them over to your side, and shift to wanting to understand why they have taken that stance or why do they feel the way that they feel. And this is a hard one, especially when you feel that you're right, especially when you feel that you're not being heard, especially when you feel like this is how it's been and you was agreeing with this when we were dating, or you was agreeing with this when we first got married. Now you want to take this stance. Again, shift from wanting to win. And it's hard. It really is, especially if they did a switcheroo on you and they're not being able to articulate why do they feel the way that they feel. Okay. And again, this young man sent this to me a couple of weeks ago. And again, I have a spreadsheet of all the wife chats and stuff like that. My assistant keeps it for me. So I don't know if the politics part of it was before the election kind of thing going on. And I'm thinking that's what that is about. I'm not sure. But shift from wanting to understand and not always wanting to win. Because again, when you shift and you take yourself from wanting to win, because the brain automatically, it goes into defense mode, especially if you're not, being heard. But shift from that and try to stay away from that so you can get their point of view and maybe you can understand why they're feeling or pressing the issue the way they're pressing it. Okay. Number 2, practice active listening. Most of the time we listen to respond and not to understand. And this is a hard one again, because again, when you're in heated fellowship, the brain automatically says they're telling a lie. I'm going to say this back. You don't let them get away with saying this. Don't let them get away with doing that, or whatever that is. And so you're not listening to what they're saying. You're listening to respond and not to understand. Okay. And a lot of times when spouses are not agreeing, and you begin to always respond, it gets to a space sometimes where they don't even want to talk to you because they figure you're not going to listen anyway. And how do I know that? It happened between me and Gail. He's like, you don't listen to me anyway, so why even have our conversation with you? And you know, we've been married 37 years, and this happened. And the day that he told me that you communicate better and listen to other people better in my practice than you listen to me, and this was like 10 years ago or something, I went back to school and I took a effective communication class, because I never wanted to communicate with the world better than I communicated with the person that I said I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Okay. And so, but it's hard, because I thought I was an effective communicator, an effective listener, but it turns out I wasn't for him. And that's what matters, because I never wanted to live a double life where, you know, I do great work for the world, right? For people that tune in and come to me for, you know, the marital problems and stuff like that. But the person that I said I was going to spend the rest of my life with, he couldn't even talk to me. And I had set the stage for that. And so I had to take credit for that and do the work and change things around. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But do I listen more than trying to defend, and do I try to understand more? The answer is yes, I do. Number 3 is sit down and figure out what you agree on, because most of the time we're focusing on what we don't agree on. But what do you really agree on? You had to agree on something for you guys to say I do. So what do you can you build off on the positive and not focus all the time on the negative? And again, sometimes that's hard, but you got to get to a point where you can say, okay, we don't agree on this, but we do agree on this. We only agree on a portion of this, but we do agree on mainly most of this, so we can come together and meet somewhere in the middle and try to figure out how we can come to a point where we can exist. Because again, you should have more in common with your spouse than you don't. And a lot of people take that for granted, and I understand. We get married because he has money or she's cute, or you know, all of these kind of things, but that doesn't sustain a marriage. Effective communication, consideration is what sustains a marriage. Putting the other person first is what sustains a marriage. And we get caught up in the looks and the money and the houses and the cars. All of those things are superficial and can be taken away with the blink of an eye. But if you can communicate effectively, and you are compassionate towards that other person, and you love them, and you listen to them, and you want to see them win, that's what sustains a marriage. So sit down and figure out what you do agree on and build off of that. And number 4, I said, ask your wife, why is she so stuck on those issues and in a negative space on those issues? Because a lot of times when it comes to religion and politics, people are raised in a certain way, and they believe that that's the only way, or the only party, or the only view that they should have. And they're not open because they was conditioned. This was the only religion I can indulge, you know, take part in. This is the only party I can vote for. This is the only way that I should be thinking. So sometimes it's just that you are conditioned the way you were conditioned and you was raised that way, and you don't want to disappoint either your parents or you feel like you're letting them down if you make a decision to go a different way. And so if you don't know why they're making those decisions or think that way or feel that way, then it's always going to be that you guys are on two different playing fields when it comes to religion and politics and education. I'm not understanding the education part of this, but the religion and politics, I can kind of see maybe they were having a difference of opinions when it comes to politics, when we were before we went through the election. And so I hope and pray that some of these things that I've talked about has helped you. If you and your spouse can't get on the same playing field, you don't have to think and do and be everything the same way that your spouse does. That's not normal, because that's not how we was created. But should you be able to sit down and have meaningful conversations about certain things that you disagree on, and meet somewhere in the middle and hear them out, and they hear you out, and you come up with some way that you can agree to disagree? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, and it can be done, but it's all about listening to understand and not always to respond. Okay. And again, I hope and pray that this helps someone out if you're in a situation where you and your spouse just can't agree on anything. And I hope, and I will also send this young man the link to this video, but I hope that he does not get in a space where he doesn't desire to have a child with his wife, or they get in a space where they don't think that they can get on the same page about anything, and they walk away from their marriage, because this is fixable. It really is fixable. Okay. And before I go, as you guys know, I am in the process of wrapping up and getting my television show across the finish line. And we still need some additional things done for the pilot. And so I'm going to put a link if you guys would like to support me in helping get these things across the line. No donation is too small. Anything you give will be greatly appreciated. And so, again, if you guys need me, you know how to contact me. If you need to talk to me, I offer a free 15-minute consultation. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to help you get across the finish line with one issue that you're having in your marriage. You can go to my website, gailcrowder.com, and schedule a free 15-minute consultation. If you want me to do a wife chat about anything, whether you're a man or a woman, please, please, please either email me or go in any of my inboxes, and I will be happy to do that. And I'll let you know that I did receive your wife chat and when I will be featuring it. Okay. If there's no other questions, I appreciate every last one of you guys for getting on here. I appreciate you guys supporting me in everything that I do. I truly appreciate you guys. I love you guys to pieces, but I gotta go. And I hope you enjoyed this chat.